Hello everyone, this is going to be another Starcraft 2 beta replay, and I am on Metalopolis versus a Protoss opponent. I just finished watching all the videos I posted on YouTube, just for nostalgia purposes, and I have noticed a lot of things I do better now, or just basic mistakes I don't make anymore. So I want to go over some of the things not to do that I've done in my previous videos. Also, this is just a higher level replay to show. Yeah, I went on a tear in Platinum League and made it to #1 and then some, and now they've moved me up to Diamond League. And yeah, I went from winning about 70% of my games to winning about 40%, if that. So this is definitely higher level competition than I'm used to, and yeah, I do end up winning this game, but I'll probably depend on a couple of games that I've lost, just like major battles, and I'll show like some of the things you can actually face at high level, and it's pretty amazing stuff. Definitely schooled me pretty hard. So yeah, I'm Protoss 4-player map. I'm definitely going for the quick expand. So yeah, early game my build really hasn't changed since before I even had a beta key. I still do the exact same build order when I do the quick expand. Supply depot to command center to 2 refineries to a second supply depot, and finally an engineering bay while making SCVs non-stop. He has had a probe in here the whole time. I've kept my an SCV chasing him, so it has hurt my economy a little bit, but at the same time I like to keep an SCV on them because I don't want him harassing my command center SCV, because then I'll have to bring more SCVs out and maybe switch SCVs on the CC and it can slow it down. So I have planted it, and I'm getting the fortress upgrade. And his scout is finally gone. Oh. Looks like he's set up a bunch of waypoints, so not gonna be so easy to get into my base like that. Getting my first barracks up now. Probably going to upgrade range on my command center. It's not that important against Protoss. I definitely do it against Zerg, and I got some supply depots here just because of the Bailing Bust can come to tier 1 so very early. It's good against Protoss for later because if he goes Colossus, the range upgrade on your air turrets is pretty awesome against Colossus. So it looks like I didn't spend it on the added range. Sorry, I'm a little brain dead here early in the morning. But that's okay, it gives me the gas to get Marauders and maybe early stim packs. So yeah, I guess I'll start talking about some of the things I did wrong in my previous videos. One is I realized stim is ridiculously strong, and it's something you should get very early. I used to only really get it when I had medevacs, because I'm like, well, I don't want to knock all these hit points off my units if I can't get them back. But trust me, in an early battle, stim pack can turn what looks like a losing battle into a massive win. It just makes you ridiculously strong. The other thing I do differently now is I get proper saturation in my bases. If I flip to income, yeah, you can see my harvester count is at 32. I'd usually end up stopping around here. I'd end up with like 30 harvesters for my 2 bases. And that's not nearly enough to maximize the input from here. Like basically you got 4 Vespians, so for 3 SCVs on each, that's 12. And then you want at least 2 SCVs per mineral patch. So 15 patches, that's 30 plus 12. So that's 42 harvesters at the absolute minimum. But really you want more than 2 per patch, so you should be aiming for 45 to 50 SCVs. So now I get more around that number rather than the you know, the 30 I used to get. It really helps my mineral intake. So yeah, it's about 1,000. That's what you're used to cap. But now I can get up around 1,400 on 2 bases, especially when you include mules. So Protoss does have a warp prism. And a few sentries. High-level Protoss players love to use sentries for these force fields. They kind of break up your army in battles and keep them out of the fight, which you'll see a little later. I actually did scan the prism when I happened to scan his base. I saw it outside of his Rabax facility, so I did set up these supply depots just to hunt for the incoming drop. I don't know if this was planned by him, but this is pretty awesome if it was planned. He makes some units, and then cancels them. And what he did was he forced me to use a stim pack to come in. I just completely wasted a stim pack on my Marauders. I guess I didn't have to use the stim pack, but I don't know. I'm guessing that was his fluke. He probably just decided this is a bad idea and pulled out, but if he did do that on purpose to force a stim pack, that's pretty amazing. One of the other problems I used to have is I didn't make enough barracks to macro out of. So usually I would just stop at 4 or 5. And you'll see by the end of this game I'm up to 8 or 9. Maybe even more. And that's because, you know, 4 or 5 is okay. Because, I mean, I am spending a lot of money on upgrades. And if I'm pumping from these non-stop plus my starport non-stop, then it should be okay. But I don't build units non-stop because my macro's not that good. So I like to have the extra barracks so when I make mistakes I can quickly get my fleet up to spend the money. Or if I lose my fleet in a big battle I can quickly replenish it by having much more barracks. Another change I do is I get Thespians very early now, including my expansion, and I saturate them fully very early. And this is because I found more ways to spend gas, particularly upgrades I'm a lot more conscious of. I used to just have one engineering bay and just like eventually make it to 1 and 1. But now I build the armory and I get 2 engineering bays so I can get my 3 attack upgrade on my units. Armor depends what you're up against, may not be that important. I do end up getting armor in this match because I end up facing a lot of Colossus. And since they hit a lot of units at once, the armor upgrade is very helpful. Observers are my nemesis. I really don't have an answer to get rid of them. I mean, I'm not going to spend money throwing up air turrets everywhere. Ravens are not something I've thrown into my game yet. Auto defense turret is pretty awesome on auto defense drone is pretty awesome on Ravens. If you have never used it before, it really helps in fights. But I just can't handle the micro Ravens, and it's hard to keep them alive. Plus, it requires me either making another starport or taking this starport off the reactor. And I like having it on the reactor to make double medevacs. And against Colossus, I like making double Vikings as well. Another problem I have, and you'll see this in all my old videos. If you're a Warcraft 3 player, you know about this. You can actually queue your buildings onto a unit. So say I queue all my buildings onto this Marauder, that means whenever units come out, they'll go straight to that Marauder, which is great because then if I have my fleet up here, any new units I make is going to come all the way up to that Marauder, so to join the fleet. However, the one thing is, it doesn't work well with medevacs. If you queue the starport onto a Marauder, the medevac will come out and pick up that unit. And then the next medevacs that come out won't even go anywhere because that Marauder's off the field now, it's inside the medevac. And if you do it the other way, if you queue units onto medevac, like say from your barracks, those units will automatically go into the medevac. So if you watch my previous videos, I'm basically Kodo eating all these units. Sorry, that's like a Starcraft term, but basically picking up all these units and not even realizing I'm doing it. So I'm taking the units right out of my game. So here's the first major battle. Unfortunately, I did not know what his fleet composition was going to be. Great Guardian shields there. See how I have all these units running around the back, not able to fight. I do pull out a... we'll call this a slight victory, I guess. I'm not sure what the unit count was at the start, but I do end up winning with a little bit left over. Probably because I had 1-1 upgrades and he had no upgrades at the time. And I guess I did scan him because I did have my first 2 Vikings out. Maybe I had 4 Vikings that fight, I'm not quite sure. The Vikings are a pretty good counter to Colossus.